It was something new to add to my portfolio, and that's all I keep hearing is blockchain this, blockchain that. Prior to attending the class, I really had no experience with blockchain at all, just hearing it now and then taking it through the class. I actually learned, which was what the most interesting part of it was, that it's not just the cryptocurrencies, it's actually the software behind it, the smart contracts and Solidity with the Ethereum network. Building the contracts, the first ones, I would not have had online help. There's no way it would have taken months to write. Uh, Everything crashes. All the software tools are basically beta to get started up and running, and that's where the online and the collaboration really helped. By logging in and watching other people struggle through their problems, eventually I was able to have a task list that was at the top of my head that was, okay, if it doesn't work, do this, restart Ganache, restart MetaMask, unload it, reload it. And that all came up because of the instructor going through it in class. And then as we broke up into separate groups, we all talked amongst ourselves the frustrations with the beta tools, basically. The class was really organized and very well put together. The thing that I got out of it the most was actually having the examples of working code. You can go online anywhere and not anywhere, but Solidity is still pretty rare. You can get some examples, but they might be for different versions, for different tools. The big thing with our class was that the instructor was able to give us examples that worked, that we were able to compile, able to run, walk through it, and then actually make modifications to it. So then when we worked our own projects, we had a template where to start with and to paste stuff in. And then, so by the end of the class, with all the examples, if you were thinking of, oh, I need a token, you knew right away, go to this example, pull this part of the code out, and that's where the token is, and then paste that into our own projects. It actually made it easier because we were watching each other's screens. I've taken classes before where it was in person, and with trying to hunch over one laptop is difficult to do. And so this actually online was actually better because you had three sets of eyes looking at it, and we could all see better than, like I said, hunching over a physical laptop in a class. First thing was, if it was online, well, ask the people for collaborating in that group what the question was, and if it wasn't in there, I would go into Slack and send messages back and forth. And even if it wasn't timed during the session, the instructor came back to us, gave us answers and help, and also classmates. We were able to send messages back and forth. Final presentation, we each had our own allotted time, and we created our dApps. And the best advice that we got from the instructor was to videotape it. About 20 minutes before I was supposed to present, I realized my computer wasn't running, and thankfully I had the videotape. And again, this isn't anything to do with the class, it's just the tools right now are beta. And so if it's running, you have to videotape it at that point. So you videotape the presentation, and then we made presentation slides. We were able to talk. The instructor brought in multiple people from outside the class and our peers that were in the class, and we presented, and then we ran a video while we talked over it to showing how the dApp was supposed to run, and they made for a smooth transition and made sure that everybody's dApp actually worked the way it was supposed to, when we weren't waiting for people to restart all their utilities like Ganache and MetaMask. We each got paired depending on who was in the group and whose computer was running. Again, with the Solidity, it's the tools, they're really finicky, and so the first thing the instructor asked was whose computer was actually up and running and functional, and then based on that, we were divided into groups to make sure at least one person in the group had a fully functioning computer at that time, which again, if you reboot and reset it in 15, 20 minutes, you can get it running, but why waste computer time? So we all collaborated in the group. The program, the Zoom she let us each see our faces as we were talking, and one person would run on their computer and type while we watched, and at any point you could hand over control to somebody else and they could type and or fix the program if there was one, and the instructor hopped around from chat room to chat room and helped out in case we were stuck. I absolutely recommend the program. There's no better way of learning it than having fully functional demonstration programs that you could load and work with, and written for the version of utilities that you have. So the instructor and all the classmates, we all had the same version of Ganache, same version of MetaMask, same version of Chrome, and so we're able to all run it at the same time. If you go online, start searching, things are written for different versions of Solidity, for different maybe even chains. So instead of Ethereum, it might be written for somebody else. That'll confuse you. Having the examples and having classmates that you can talk to and work with, that made the whole difference. I would say it would have taken me 6 to 7 months to learn this on my own, whereas in 2 months I was able to learn it actually within 2 or 3 weeks. We were actually writing programs at that point.